Welcome to the talk on 3 strategies to help you persevere on your path as a change maker. One of the things I've noticed is that sometimes we find ourselves complaining when we're change makers. So, do you find that happening for yourself? What is something that you complain about, something that you see around you in the world that you complain about? And if you're willing, I'd love for you to pop your answer in the chat so that we can see what we're all complaining about. Oh, so the environment, yep, definitely. Governments, controlling citizens, yeah. That one really gets me. Marketing yourself, yep, Doreen, I get that. Elena, oh yes, entitlement. It's such a huge thing. Thank you so much for sharing the things that you complain about. Poor communication, definitely another big issue. There's so many things in society that are in need of changing. I found myself complaining about things a lot 9 years ago. But what I want you to know is that even though you might find yourself complaining and you might be worried about trying to help that thing change because it might feel too big, or maybe you're worried that you're going to get burned out, it really is possible to create big and lasting change in society without burning yourself out. 9 years ago, I was part of a system and I found myself complaining a lot. What I noticed was that the system that I was part of had productivity expectations that were so high. It just felt impossible to keep up with those things. The message that I kept getting from management was, this is doable. If you can't do this, there's something wrong with you. Well, I didn't quite buy into that. So I went and I talked to the other people that were in my role. There were 12 of us. And what I discovered was that there was only one of them that could actually do everything that the system was asking them to do. Everybody else was either cutting corners or they were skipping lunch and staying late. And I just wasn't willing to do that because I thought, I don't want that kind of life. So I didn't skip lunch and I didn't stay late. One morning, the head of the department walked into my office and she said, "You're behind on your paperwork. You're going to have to stay tonight until you get caught up." I just sat there in shock for a few moments. I was thinking, 3 months of paperwork in one night? How is that even possible? After she left my office, the first thing that I did was I cried because I was so frustrated. I'd been telling them all along, I can't keep up. And then after that, I got mad because I just thought it's just not fair for these expectations to be placed on us. And then I got creative and I came up with a plan. It was basically a brand new schedule. And I created larger blocks of time where I could do the paperwork. And I added groups to my schedule so that I could see more than one person at a time. I thought, wow, this would be great. I can do everything that they're asking for. I was so hopeful and so excited. So I took the plan into my supervisor, and the department head was there too. And I handed it to them. And they spent a few minutes looking at my plan. And then they looked at me and said, "You can't do this. The schedule has to come from us." I was so irritated and frustrated because I thought, why can't this, this is workable. We could make this work and it would be win-win for everyone. But they weren't having it. They didn't buy into it. So I stayed at that system for a while longer. Eventually, I ended up moving to another similar system in a different city, but I noticed that some of the same problems were part of that system too. So I was afraid for a while, and that's really what kept me from going into private practice sooner, but eventually I just thought, no, I just can't stay here. I can't show up the way that I want to. So I stepped away. I found the courage to step away. I created my own practice. And I'm so glad that I did, because now I have the freedom to work with anyone that I want to. And I have the schedule that I love. And I have decided that who I want to work with are women change makers. People that see these things that are part of systems that just aren't working. And they also feel called to help that thing change, because that's what we need. There's a lot of systems that aren't working in society, and we just need to help them change. So today I'm going to share with you 3 strategies that I have found, and that most of the makers that I work with are asking for help in working with these 3 different things. All of these things really revolve around you doing your inner work as a change maker, because when we do that inner work, it's like we create a really strong foundation that we can stand on when we bump into challenges along the way. So just to make it fun, I decided to come up with some catchy things to remember the different strategies. So I call the first one facing the elephant. So when you're on your journey as a change maker, there are probably times when you're going to bump up against doubt or fear. And I think that the doubt and fear are like the elephant that's in the room, because nobody wants to talk about those. We don't want to admit that we're afraid, because then we feel weak. Or we don't want to admit it when we have doubt, because we're thinking, no, this change that I'm passionate about is so important. So why am I doubting it? So if you can relate to either feeling fear or doubt, I just invite you to pop that into the chat. What is something that you've bumped into that's kind of like the elephant in the room? You don't want to admit it, but it shows up for you. Yeah, yeah, Elaine, I get that. Yeah, it's always concerning. You never know how people are going to take it when you speak up. Fear of showing up. Yeah, it's just scary. It takes a lot of courage to do that. The people want to do the inner work to find their voice. That people will want to do that work. Yeah, I get that, Doreen, because sometimes people don't want to do that inner work. Definitely. Lynette, I get that too. Yeah, second guessing ourselves. Yeah, that's when that doubt comes in and we're thinking, wait, did I do the right thing? Yeah, thank you so much for sharing those thoughts, everyone. I appreciate that. Yeah, and when you hear what other people are doubting, I bet you probably can relate to some of those doubts or fears or those elephants that other people deal with. I'd like to share with you a story of a client that I worked with, and I'll call her Chloe. She, like you, Julie, she kind of had a fear of failure, but her fear was related to delegating. It was neat because she had this passion for creating change in the way that leadership happens in organizations. You know how many organizations have this top-down model? And she just wasn't buying that. She said, no, I want a model of shared leadership. And I love that. I love that model. And I've even worked in systems where they've tried to create that. But what she was noticing showed up for her when she tried to implement that model is that she was afraid of delegating things. So she booked several team buildings with me, and she got to practice. You can see her here, she's swinging while other people are doing the work. So she got to really experience what it felt like to feel that fear of delegating and to just walk away from it and actually delegate so that she could do what she needed to do, because that freed up more time for her to do what she was really good at as the leader of the organization. So it was really neat to watch the progress that she made, because eventually she was able to let go of the reins and start a new branch of her business in another state. So she conquered her fear of delegating, and it was awesome to see that. I'm going to talk about strategy too for just a minute, but I'd like to say a couple things more about this facing the elephant. The reason I think it's important to do that is because when we have these fears and doubts, even if we're not talking about them, they're still there. They take up space inside of our heads, right? And so it's really important to just notice that they're there. And one of the things you can do, I kind of invite people to do it in a variety of different ways. One of the things that you can do is just at the end of the day, just notice if any of your fear or doubt has been triggered, and just journal about it. And, maybe write about things like what was happening when I started feeling afraid, or when I started doubting myself. Because if we don't stop those thoughts from happening, it's like a snowball that just gets bigger and bigger, and that can really impact the way that we show up. So noticing the thoughts is the first step, and then trying to disrupt them is the second step. And then the third step is trying to disrupt them in the moment while they're happening. And I like to tell people that so this would sort of be like, instead of just facing your elephant, it would be sort of like feeding or befriending your elephant. Because when we have a fear or doubt that shows up, it's like a part of us. And really, that part of us is just trying to protect us and keep us safe in some way. So if you want to not only face your elephant, but befriend it, you could spend some time just imagining that part, when you hear that voice of fear or doubt showing up, it's actually a part of you. And spend some time journaling with that part of you. And maybe just ask that part of you what it's afraid would happen if you did whatever you were thinking about doing. And maybe ask that part of you how it's trying to serve you. That can really kind of take some of the fuel away from when your doubting or fearful part is trying to jump in and prevent you from doing something big. So let's talk about the second strategy of finding your pearls. Finding your pearls can really help you on your path as a change maker. I like to use this metaphor of a pearl because, just like we have experiences that are similar to what an oyster or a mollusk experiences. So with an oyster or a mollusk, there's a grain of sand that gets into the shell, and it's really irritating. And the oyster is trying to deal with that, and the only way it knows how to deal with it is to coat it with this mother of pearl substance. And in the midst of some of the challenges that you and I, as change makers, have faced, there have been experiences that have been irritating or really uncomfortable, and some of them are painful and even traumatic. I get that. The trick, though, is as a change maker, some people end up feeling like, oh, there's something wrong with me because I went through all that, or sometimes we see ourselves as broken. But it's the exact opposite. You're not broken. You had that experience for a reason, and now you can take the discomfort, the pain, the knowledge that you gained from that experience, and it's like a pearl that has equipped you perfectly to be the change maker that you are today. I thought it might be fun to just take a few moments here to help you try to find your pearl. So if you're game, let's do a little experiential together here. So I just invite you to kind of settle into the space where you're sitting, and take a few deep breaths. And kind of imagine that you could step onto a time machine that would carry you back throughout the years of your life. And this is kind of a magical time machine that's going to help you find memories that are safe for you to explore today in this moment. Not ones that are too overwhelming or too traumatic, but just ones that maybe are connected to resilience, to you finding a person, a place, or a thing that helped you find comfort and support in that moment when you were in the middle of that challenge. And just take a few moments to really get deeply connected to that memory and what it was that helped you survive. And as you look back now, how that experience helped you grow, how you were able to bounce back. So find a way to kind of anchor in the pearls of wisdom, maybe from that experience. And then take as much time as you need. And when you feel ready to join us back in the space that we're sharing today, just take a few deep breaths and maybe do some stretching, move your body a little. And if you're comfortable sharing it, I would love to hear about a pearl that you found from connecting back to that memory. So what's a pearl that you uncovered, pearl of resilience? If you could just type it in the chat, that would be awesome. I love that, Elena. You can be vulnerable, tender, and powerful. Indeed. Mm. Grandma's garden. Yeah. I don't have to hide. I have good things to say. Yes. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing those pearls. I'd like to share with you a story about my client and I'll call her Deidre. She realized that all her life she had been defined by other people telling her, she couldn't do this. There was such and such wrong with her. She was too much. She was this, she was that. After working with me, she came to several retreats with me, and she just realized that those were so distorted. Those things were not her. She said, I've gone all my life being defined by what other people say to me. But she was able to realize that those things were not true about her. And she was able to uncover and embrace her fiery, authentic self. And now she's able to use that fire to fuel her passion for change. So it was so exciting to see the transformation that happened for her. And I'm seeing more things that you posted in the chat. Take the shot in basketball games when I used to pass the ball to other teammates. Wonderful. That's awesome, Lynette. And Julie, sometimes hard things are important and positive for the future. Yes, so true. Yeah. When I think about my experience in that dysfunctional system, I realized that for many years I was ashamed, even though I walked away feeling all happy that I did. I realized that I had shame about not being able to comply with what they asked of me. But I finally realized, no, there's nothing to be ashamed about. It didn't work. It worked for some people, they were willing to make it work, but it didn't work for me. So that uncovering my pearl of wisdom was just letting go of the shame for that experience with me. So we already talked about that. Let's talk about strategy number 3, and that is filling your cup. I love this strategy. I really think it's so important in persevering as a change maker, because when, as women, we're conditioned to be caregivers, right? We know how to give. It's maybe bred into us, or I don't know, but we all know how to do it, and we do it well, I bet, right? But have any of you ever found yourselves in the position where you are giving too much? That's kind of a phrase that I came up with. I've learned not to give to others at my own expense. I think that's so important. And so as change makers, think of yourself as a cup or a chalice, and the essence of you is the liquid that's in that cup. And you go around throughout the day and you're pouring out, you're giving to other people, you're taking care of and projects and things. So it's just important to monitor the liquid, that essence of you that's in your cup, and not overextend and not give too much. Because otherwise, if you're empty, how are you going to take care of the people and the things that are important to you, right? Yeah. So I'd like to tell you a story about my client Aggie. So Aggie came to a retreat with me because she was part of a very dysfunctional system, and she was really feeling burned out. I guided her in creating the image that you see on the left. And when she created that image, it just helped her see that her heart was being pulled in so many different directions. And there was a huge cost to that. She was having some health challenges, and her relationships were suffering. And she didn't want to keep living life that way, which is why she carved out some time to spend with me. And what she realized was, the cost was too high and she needed to do something different. So she ended up leaving that dysfunctional system, and she found a system that's much more supportive for her. And now she's able to continue to pour into her mission of supporting children and helping them learn and grow. So I am so excited that she found the courage and made the commitment to doing her inner work. So I'd be curious to see if you could find if you would share with us what fills your cup. Because I think, the media is really good at telling us, oh, you should meditate, you should exercise. And we all know those things are good, right? But what I've found is that it's different for different people. Different things fill you up. If you're a person who loves nature, nature is going to fill you up. If you're a person who loves music, music's going to fill you up. So I would love it if you could share in the chat some of the things that fill you up, because it's important for you to know what fills you up, and to know that what fills you up on one day might not fill you up on the next day. Julie, I love what you shared. Don't set yourself on fire just to save somebody else. That's a great piece. That's a great pearl of wisdom. Doreen, I love it. Your husband's hugs, acceptance, laughter, and love. Kelly, writing and caring people. Beautiful. Walks in nature, Elena. Yeah. Music, dancing, organizing my house. Yeah, I had to organize my space yesterday because I was feeling so cluttered, and it really helped. Julie, yes, I love creating art and too, and I love music and nature as well. Thank you so much for sharing those things. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing those things. All right, let's look at the next piece of information. Lynette, nature, listening and dancing to your favorite tunes. Yeah. So no one's watching you. You're dancing like no one's watching you, and actually no one is watching you. That's always good to know. Oh, beautiful. All right, so let's talk about these strategies that I have shared so far. So the first one If you want to persevere on your path as a change maker, is to face the elephant. Yeah, just pay attention to those fears and doubts, because otherwise they're going to take up space and they might slow you down on your path as a change maker. The second one is to find your pearls. So remember, look back on those challenges that you experienced in the past, and especially the ones that helped you be resilient. Because when you think about those memories from the past, you can actually activate that resilience energy in you again, right in the moment, in the face of whatever path or challenge you're experiencing. And it can help you be more resilient so that you don't end up burning out or giving up. And then the third pearl is to fill your cup. Yeah, so just making sure to take time to really, really nurture yourself. And, it could be something like I said, like going out in nature. And one of the things that I like to do, I just wanted to share this, and I forgot to say it earlier. When I go out in nature, I try to do a practice that involves reciprocity. So the first thing that I do is to really notice all of the beauty around me. And even I try to walk more slowly than I normally do, and really notice the tiny details of what is beautiful. And I just offer gratitude. I'll say, thank you, tree, for anchoring the earth and anchoring the light. So I just express gratitude towards all the beautiful things that I see. And then I open up to receive. And I just invite nature and my higher power, God, whatever word you want to use. That's a great way to just ask the universe to nurture you, to ask for signs, and then to notice those signs. And when they show up, to say, thank you so much. And I heard this one man talk, and I loved his practice. He said, you should say, thank you, please give me more. So that's what I do. And I've noticed that happens. So remember to take time to fill up your cup. That's the third strategy. So I'd like to spend some time now just talking about takeaways. And by that, I mean, what's something that you heard that you think can really support you as you move forward on your path as a change maker, and in doing the things that you're passionate about? What's something that you heard that is a great takeaway for you? And if you could pop it into the chat, I'd love to see what your gems of wisdom are. My takeaway, I'll just say, while you're thinking and writing, my biggest takeaway from today so far is just I'm feeling such a huge sense of gratitude that all of you took time out of your day to be here. That means a lot, and I know that there are people like you that are wanting support. So thank you for being here. Okay, Elena, being guided to see the pearl and claim my strength, to remember what I do have rather than focusing on my limitations. Beautiful. Oh, Doreen, I love it that you carry your grandma's garden with you. I have wonderful memories of my grandpa's garden. So thank you for sharing that. All right, I'm going to move on to the next slide, and you can continue to share your thoughts if you would like to. Oh, Lynette, putting yourself as a priority. It's so important. And what I've noticed is that change makers often say that it's hard for them to do that. I've heard people say either they know they should put themselves as a priority, but they don't. They put other things first. And when I've asked them why they do that, they say, well, I just can't find the time for it. Or I've had people say, well, I do it, but even when I do it, I feel guilty. And so it kind of ruins it. Or they'll say, yeah, I can do it, but I'm not fully there because I'm worried about all the other stuff that I should be doing. So I think it's important if you find that you're having a hard time filling your cup and putting yourself as a priority, yeah, just spend some time journaling and maybe you can get some clarity as to why you're not doing that. There's probably a part of you that doesn't buy into self-care, and you could journal with that part of you, just like I was encouraging you to journal with the elephant, that fear, that part of you that has the doubt or fear. Julie says, I had not correlated fear of failure to fear of delegating. And she says it gives her something to address and continue to seek how the pearls in my life are all around me. Julie, thank you for sharing that thought. Doreen, thank you for your comment. Yeah, face, find, fill. Those are your strategies. If you only need to think of face, elephant, find, pearl, fill, cup. Those are three. I thought that'll be things that people can remember. So thank you for giving me that feedback. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Oh, I wanted to share. Well, I have a question. So, Kelly, I know that you are here, and Kelly and I had talked about, I had asked her if she would be willing to share. We've done some work together, and she said she might be willing to share a testimonial. So, Kelly, are you willing to do that, or do you have other stuff going on?
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, let me back. Let's see. I'm just going to stop share for a minute. I'm just going to risk it here. I might not be able to get this back up, but it'll all be okay, right? Okay. There she is. All right.
Hi.
So let me see if I can. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Now you're in the spotlight.
Oh, hi. Well, so I'm sorry I was late. I couldn't be helped. But yeah, how long have we been working together? Has it been like 3 months, 4 months?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. And I guess I do consider myself a change maker. There's lots of um things that I've seen in my personal and professional career that um, caused me to want to pursue, certain avenues. And, I'd never had a coach before, an entrepreneurial coach or, other than like kickball, just regular sports coaches. But so I really didn't know what to expect. And as I got to know Tamara and, we started working together, I realized that, there I wasn't taking time for myself because I've got this to do or that to do. And, you know, um, sometimes in session, Tamara would just breathe and it made me reflect, oh, this is a good thing to do. Breathe and just take some time and think about really what goal I'm looking for, even if it's, broken down into little increments, because it's so easy to get sidetracked and lose focus, and sometimes just breathe in and taking time to think, but also um, I had forgotten how much I enjoyed writing and my creative side. And so thanks for helping me with that because it really got me going. I guess it's maybe my way of expression. It got me going even outside of sessions to write and really reflect on what I'm wanting to do, where I'm wanting to go, what my why is. And so I've found it very, very beneficial. Yeah. So thank you. And
Oh,
if anybody has questions, that's fine. I'm happy to answer any questions.
thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. See if I can take you out of the spotlight. Let me just try to share my screen again and see if that will do it. Okay. We'll go with this. Oh, except let me go back to the slide that we were on. Ooh, Okay, so let me resume. We're going to go past these slides though, because Kelly already gave us a beautiful testimonial. Thank you for that. Well, maybe I'll just say a little bit about this because this is a really cool story too. So I worked with this woman that I'll call Sophie, and her passion was to create change in the structures and systems that support special needs individuals. She was doing well with her business. It was thriving. And she also knew that she was capable of more. So she reached out to me and attended several retreats with me. And what we discovered is that she felt like she wasn't creative. So she was comfortable with that. She was like, she just accepted it and said, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay with that." Um, and but I thought, no, that's not, that's a myth because everyone is creative. So luckily, she was willing to lean into her fear. She didn't have any confidence in her ability to create, but she was willing to move into that fear zone. And she tried creating things when I asked her to. And she was able to acquire new skills in creativity and can just express herself now just randomly and abstractly. And sometimes that people are really scared by abstract images, creating those, but she will just dive into it now. And it really has helped her find a deeper purpose. Here's what she said. I just wanted to share this. She said, being more comfortable with creativity definitely helps me be more comfortable in the unknown growth zone. Yeah, so taking risks and not knowing what she was doing, she was able to step away from what was comfortable. She just practiced doing that by making art, and it helped her. And now she's found an even deeper purpose for the work that she's doing. It's been so exciting to watch this. And you know what? If all of these women, Kelly and all of you here, and Sophie and Deidre and Aggie, if all these women can do it, so can you. You can create the change that you want without burning out. And the effort that you put into that is going to be worth it because you will be able to tap into more confidence so that if you are having the doubt or the fear, you can more quickly disrupt those thought patterns so that they don't stop you in your tracks. And you'll be able to tap into more resilience so that if you're facing challenges in the moment, you can bounce back more quickly. You can remember your resilience, your pearls, and you can use some of those pearls and those skills to help you deal with whatever challenge you're facing in the moment. And then support. When you do your inner work, you're going to find the support that you need, whether it's from people, places, or things, so that you're not going to burn yourself out in the process. So when women commit to doing their inner work, they power up their potential. And I would like to invite you, if it feels like a good fit for you, to take me up on having a free session together. It's really a way to help you, if you're ready to take things to the next level, or if you're just, you're passionate for change, but you find yourself getting sidetracked or stuck. I invite you to just book a session with me that you can take I'm going to send you a replay link so you can take a screenshot of this QR code and it will take you right to my schedule so that you can sign up. And if you decide that this is a good fit for you, my promise is that I will support you in helping you uncover your deeper potential, because I guarantee that if you are on this path of change, you've got the capacity to make the change happen. Maybe not all by yourself, but I would love to help you uncover that. And also, I'm committed to just helping you persevere on your path and just to create change without burning out. If you decide not that working together isn't a good fit, no worries, because I hope we can stay connected and I will continue to support you on your path as a change maker. Talk about getting support from the universe. So it was funny, I wanted to find a picture of a protest so that I could put my own sign in there. And the other day, a memory from Facebook popped up and I found myself holding this green piece of paper and it had different words on there. So I just put these words on here because I think these words are so important. This is what I put a stake in the ground or in the sand for, is we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We can't, we can't wait for somebody else to fix what's going on. There are systems that need to be transformed. They probably want to transform, but they don't know how to do it. If they knew how to do it, they'd probably change, right? So we are the ones that we've been waiting for. And I'd like to end, we're going to go to question and answer in just a minute, but I'd like to end with this quote from the Hopi elder. And this, I think it was in 2002 when he made this prophecy. And here's what he said. I love these words. You've been telling people that this is the 11th hour. Now it's time to go back and tell the people, this is the hour. It's time to speak your truth. It's time to create community. Be good to each other. Banish the word struggle from your vocabulary. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves in community and celebrate what you see, because we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Thank you so much for showing up today. I'm going to stop this screen share now. And
Kelly, it really inspired me when you were sharing with us, and you really just sort of made that claim for like, I am a change maker. And I just felt something sort of come alive in me. Like, oh, this isn't about, I need to go out and be the change maker, almost, like holding the picket sign, but seeing the places where I can claim, like, I see this, I'm complaining about it. I don't need to complain about it. I am a change maker. I'm not sure if that's coming through, but I just like, yeah. Thank you for letting me share.
thank you for sharing, Elena. That's beautiful. Please, Julie, go ahead.
I think that along with Elena and Kelly, what really is standing out is that being true to who you are, wherever you are, and being able to say, this is who I am. This is why I'm doing this. I'm sorry if that is not what you thought I was here to do or what I'm doing. My goal is not to offend you or make you look bad or to disrupt you, but I have to be true to who I am and what I came forward to do. And if that is a poor reflection on you, I'm sorry, that's not what my intention was. And maybe we need to communicate better about that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Julie.
I also love at the end, that quote that you did, where it talked also about the community, because we seem to be drifting away from community, whether it's just in various aspects of how we used to come together decades ago. Even around the kitchen table was a community, as little as it was. And I think Changemaker needs to bring that community back, or find the people that you relate to and hopefully build a bigger community, because divided is not good.
Thank you, Lynette. I agree. And I think it's Stephen Covey that came up with the term interdependence. Are you familiar with that term? I remember when I grew up, there was this whole big push, be independent, stand on your own. And I know that that's important. That's awesome. And when we come together with other people, other women, other change makers, sometimes we can create things together that we would have never thought of on our own. Yeah, Doreen, please.
In getting to know you and your brand change making, I didn't, I was thinking, well, I don't have a system that I'm trying to change, like what Alana just said, global warming, or, what a system, a corporation system. But it's interesting, my brand which I've had for, 15, 20, change, find your voice, change your life. It's like, duh, it just occurred to me. I, so it's
You
just
are a
like,
change maker, Doreen.
Yeah, definitely.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the bringing it inside, like I'm hearing everybody say. So thanks, Tamara.
Wonderful.
And thanks. Wonderful journey with you guys, learning journey.
So wonderful. Yes. And there are so many, it's about changing the status quo. And it doesn't have to be, it can be as small or as big as you want it to be. And it might be, I know somebody was changing the status quo about women having careers, and then you become a mom and then you have to give up your career. Well, no, no, that's an old paradigm. It's all about changing the status quo related to old paradigms. So, yeah. Any last thoughts or comments before we wrap this up today? Julie, please.
Oh, I saw something the other day, and it said something about, it says women can have it all, but the reality is do we really want it all? Because sometimes we just want to carve out the part and just really enhance what we're really good at. Why do we have to carry it all?
Beautiful. Beautiful comment.
Can I just add one more thing?
Please.
I, you know, I think, Lynette, you were talking about, coming together as a community and not, we don't have that as much, I feel like. And for me personally, within, sometimes it's hard to be authentic or real in certain situations to really, be able to reflect and, see what direction you want to go. And I've found that being able to, like, for me, feeling that I can be vulnerable or authentic in settings is really important to me. I have found that. And I think, with women in general, or, going through your coaching or whatever it is you decide to do, I think it's so important. And if we can find that in ourselves, it's easier to connect authentically with other people and then make those changes as well, or even just find, healthy intimacy, friendships.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Kelly. And Kelly, thank you so much for sharing your testimonial today. And thank you to all of you beautiful women who showed up today. I so appreciate your time, your commitment to change, your passion for your work, and I wish you well on your journey.